Hey everyone, it is Jen Scalia, and I am here to share with you my Rockstar guide to visibility. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Jen Scalia, and I am a visibility strategist for online entrepreneurs who want to make an impact. And visibility has kind of been my jam for quite some time now, a couple years now, and I really know how to utilize social media, utilize your connections to really bring awareness to your business. So that's what I'm going to share with you today. I'm literally sharing with you everything that I know about how to create this mega visibility in your business so that people know who you are, they know about your business, and they want to buy from you. So make sure that you grab a pen and paper and you are ready to take lots and lots of notes because I have a really good one for you today. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, I really want to talk about what visibility is not because I hear a lot of people, out there claiming to be visibility experts and saying that they're really great with visibility, and the only thing they're doing is posting in groups. And to me, that's not what real visibility is. Real visibility is not spamming people, it's not going around and just, sending emails or sending messages to people on Facebook or any other social media and just saying, hey, I have this product, or hey, this is my business, or hey, this is what I do. If you're interested in finding out more, click here. That might work here and there. Maybe if you send 100 messages, you might get one or two people interested. But the reality is that's not visibility. That's not going to grow your business. And spamming people is really annoying. So visibility does not mean spamming people. That even includes groups. So lots and lots of coaches are out there basically teaching that the way that you're to get clients is to go in and post in groups 3 to 5 times a day. This is so wrong on so many levels. So, posting in groups is definitely one way that you can create some visibility, but the way in which people are teaching it is completely wrong. So, it is not for you to go into groups that you are not active in, where you're not invited to actually go in and, again, spam the group or just say, hey, I have this promotion, or hey, I have this thing. The real visibility in groups happens when you are just being human, when you're not being a salesperson, when you're not being a coach or an entrepreneur, and you're just in there and you're just sharing tips, you're giving advice, you're helping people, you're connecting, you're collaborating. All of those kinds of things is going to get you visibility in groups, not just posting your offers. So, posting in groups 3 to 5 times a day, I'm sure you hear that all the time. That is not what visibility is about. Next, copycatting. I want to address this because I think it's so easy for us to look at other people and think, oh, well, they're doing this, or they're going about it this certain way, or they're launching this certain way, and maybe that's what I should do. And, real visibility is going to be about you really just turning up the heat on who you are, on what your business is, and on what your mission is. So, just because you see somebody else doing something doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you and your business. And sometimes, if we try to duplicate what we see is going on for someone on the outside, it ends up completely messed up and we wonder why it's not working, right? The reason why it doesn't work is because we have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. We have no idea how hard they're working. We have no idea what the workings of their business are behind the scenes. So copycatting is not visibility. So just because you see someone else doing something does not mean that you should do it. Visibility is also not spending 24/7 on social media. I think this is a common misconception. People think, if I have to be visible, I've got to be attached to my phone 24/7. I have to post every single day. I have to do a live stream every day. No, you don't. You really don't. What you have to do is you have to make an impact with your content, and we'll get into that in just a minute. And once you can do that, it's going to seem like you are on social media 24/7 because other people are talking about you. Other people are, out there and just sharing your stuff. So you don't actually have to spend 24/7 on social media in order to be really, really visible in your business. I have people that come up to me all the time and just say, Jen, you're everywhere. And it's just so funny because I know that half the time I'm not on social media. I'm not posting, 3 to 5 times a day. There's many times where I don't log into Facebook at all. And there are many nights where I'm actually able to sit here and watch a movie or watch my favorite show. So I am not spending 24/7 on social media, but it appears that way. And so this is what we're going to dive into today with visibility and with the tips that I'm going to give you on how you can just maximize what you are putting out there so that it does really seem like you're everywhere. So let's then dive into what visibility actually is. So, like I mentioned before, visibility equals impact. For me, that is my definition of visibility. It's not just being, everywhere on social media, on, every single platform. That's not what it's about. It's really about making an impact where you are. So if you are at a place, or if you do choose a social media platform, it's about really making an impact there and not spreading yourself too thin across multiple boards. Visibility also is being known as the expert. You want people to just automatically think of you when they think of your niche or topic. So let's just say you're a health coach that focuses on, quitting sugar. So what you want to be known for is that you want to have that one thing that if you see somebody post in a group or post in a forum, I really need to kick this sugar habit, people automatically say, oh, you need to go right to XYZ person. They just know that you are that person. You're the person that's consistently and constantly being called out for that specialty. And that's why it's so important for us to really choose one thing that is our thing. Visibility also means getting published and getting media attention. And I'm going to dive into this, and I'm going to dive into how you can create your own media attention. But seriously, like, this is huge. This is something so big that even if you're brand new, even if you're just starting, you can gain mega credibility by getting published or getting mentioned in some sort of online blog or online magazine or even a traditional magazine, things like that. Visibility is also having a tribe of raving fans, people that just absolutely love and adore you and want to really just connect with you and want to, comment on everything you post out and buy everything that you have, and just really having that tribe of raving fans that love what you do. This is what visibility is about. All right, so I want to give you some tips on creating rapid visibility because it does not have to take long, but there is a process to it. So, some of the things that I had to do when I went literally from hiding to having mega visibility was mastering my mindset. I really had to wrap my head around the fact that it was no longer about me and it was about my mission. It was about what I was out there to help people with. And your mindset is about 80% of the game when it comes to visibility. You have to believe that what you're putting out there is good. You have to believe that what you're putting out there is going to change people's lives and it's really going to impact people. And if you can have that kind of mindset going out there and you have that kind of mindset when you post, you're going to just see how fast visibility can happen for you. Next is to get confident. A lot of people just don't have the confidence to put themselves out there all the time or even ever. So whatever it is that you're lacking confidence in, maybe it's a confidence in sales or pitching, or maybe it's lack of confidence in a certain area of something that you do. Maybe it's lack of confidence in getting on video. Whatever it is that that is stopping you from being really visible, go out there and learn it, buy trainings, buy books, watch webinars, whatever you have to do so that you can really learn and get confident about that one weak area that you have. Next is to be really present. So visibility isn't just about going out there and posting and posting and posting and never, receiving or never giving back, right? You really have to be present with your audience. You really have to be present about the things that they're saying they struggle with. You really have to listen. I guess that's another way that you can say that. I can say that listening and really having an awareness of what's going on for your ideal clients and for your target market. And if you can do that, and if you can really learn to listen and understand what's going on for them, then you can create content and blogs and posts and videos that feed that need that they have. And that's really going to help them, which is also going to help your visibility. Next, this is something I talk about all the time, which is to give, give, give. You've got to just really give. I get people that ask me all the time, how much is too much free? Or I don't want to give away stuff for free because then people won't buy my programs. It's just not the truth. There is not too much that you can give for free, right? We can give tips and videos and podcasts and blogs and, the ability to just create content and give it away is going to be the foundation of you having a long lasting business because people are going to trust you. And that is where the give comes. It comes from people being able to trust you and saying, you know what, like this girl is really awesome. This chick is really cool and I want more and I want to continue to follow her and I want to stay on her list and I want to stay in her group. So give, give, give. Along with that, make sure that what you're giving, your content that you're creating, is of massive value. So I think a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, oh, I need to have an opt-in or I need to, just create content and I need to give stuff away. But the stuff that they're giving away or the content that they're creating is no good. It's just junk. It's stuff that somebody could Google or, something that someone can read in the first page of a book. So make sure that whatever it is that you are creating, your content is of massive value and that, someone can actually use it to change your life. So this is one of the things that I always, always think of before I send out any post, any newsletter, or create any video. I think, how can I give something that these people can use to change their business or something that they can apply in their business today? So always make it actionable too, because once they start to take action on your content, they start to see results. When they start to see results, they're going to trust you even more. They're going to love you, not just like you, and then they're going to buy from you. So just make sure that whatever you create is top notch and that it is of massive value. Okay, so next, this is the biggie. This is what visibility is all about. If I had to sum up visibility in one word besides impact, it is content. Content is what's going to get you there. Content is what's going to put you at the top. Content is what's going to position you as an expert. So you've got to find out what your audience wants and give it to them. So just like I was talking about before, being really present, listening, just understanding what your people want and creating content that supports them, creating content that solves their problem. That is what you need to do. The valuable content, like I was saying, it's got to be value, but it also has to be often. You have to do it all the time. It's not like you can just create one piece of valuable content and keep recycling and reusing that. I mean, if it's really, really great, then you can, but it's going to get old and people that have been following you are going to crave new things from you. So make sure that you're creating new and valuable content often. Also, being consistent. So just like I was saying, you can't just create one piece of content and that's it. You have to be consistent. Creating content, on a weekly basis. I'm not going to say daily because sometimes that's hard, especially if you are having, a business that you're running and dealing with clients and you have a family and you have other things going on. Daily might not be for you. However, weekly definitely should be. You should be coming out with something new every week, even if it's just a video, even if it's just a Facebook Live, even if it's just a blog post. I'm not saying that you have to create an epic, opt-in freebie every single week. I do recommend, however, you do that about every 4 to 6 weeks, but just creating some piece of content, something that goes out to your audience on a consistent basis. Next, segmenting your audience. This is something that I think a lot of people don't talk about when they talk about visibility. So your audience wants different things. And the way that I describe that is, I always say, it's different strokes for different folks. So somebody might come to you for something, topic A, but then another person might come to you for topic B. So you want to be able to segment your audience and specifically your list and understand like what are the different things that people are coming to you for. Again, the health coach example. Maybe somebody's coming to you because they want to quit sugar. Maybe someone's coming to you because they want to get an exercise routine or a fitness routine. And maybe somebody's coming to you because they want a meal plan and they're looking for nutritional advice. So those could be like 3 different categories or 3 different segments of your audience. So you want to make sure that you're providing content for all of those people that would come to you. Next is just to show up and show up how you show up best. Sorry, that was a little tongue twister for me. Show up how you show up best. So this goes back to not feeling like you have to be everywhere. You don't have to be on Snapchat and Periscope and Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and LinkedIn and you don't have to be everywhere, right? You have to be the places that are going to serve you best. You have to be the places that feel really comfortable for you. You have to be in the places that you love being in because that is how you're going to show up best. So if you absolutely without a doubt hate video, then you need to do audio. Maybe you can create a podcast. If you hate writing, then maybe you can start doing a vlog and doing videos weekly or daily. So think about how you show up best. Think about what your strengths are and then go and do that. Okay, so this is my next thing, and this is actually probably one of the things that really changed my business and my visibility, and it was by telling stories. So I want to just be really specific here that there is a way to do it and there is a way not to do it. So lots of times I see people on social that share stories that are just not relevant. And so here, share relative stories. I put relative, but I really mean relevant. You have to make sure that the story that you're sharing is actually matters to them, that they would actually care about this story, that it ties in somehow to your mission, to your vision, to how you help people, to how you've overcome something. So just have to make sure that the story is relevant. If you tell a story about a waitressing job that you had when you were 19 years old, just make sure that it's relevant. Make sure that you bring it back to maybe how that changed your life or how that maybe put you on the path to entrepreneurship. You always want to just bring it back home. You don't just kind of want to share stories just to share them without them having a purpose. Be honest and real about it. So people don't really love perfection. I find that especially for me, if something is too perfect and something is too pretty and something is too, perfectly wrapped up in a bow, I can't relate to it. So be honest, be real, and people will find that very, very attractive. Vulnerability and transparency, kind of along the same lines of honesty and real. You really just want people to relate to you. You want people to think, wow, like she was able to do this, I should be able to do this. Or wow, I see a lot of her in me. Or wow, you remind me a lot of myself. That's the kind of feeling that you want your people to have. You want your people to connect with you in such a way that they feel like they can do it. They feel like they can overcome things. They feel like their stories just line up with you. I have no idea how many people have come to me when I share a story or when I share something and they say, oh my gosh, our stories are so similar, or our paths are so similar. We must be, soul sisters because we have the same kind of story and the same kind of thing going on. So bringing that in really will help you attract the right people and the people that need you. Okay, so back to my favorite word, which is impact. Making an impact will just immediately help you with your visibility, okay? Think bigger, think outside of your current circles. Think outside of the 3 Facebook groups that you're a part of. Think outside of your 200 or 2,000 person list. Think bigger. If you can think bigger, you will start to make a bigger impact. So go big. I like to say go huge, go outside of what you think is normal and you'll start to make a huge impact. How can you ultimately serve? Always think about how you can serve people. When you come from a place of service, as opposed to a place of desperation, of a place of trying to make a sale or trying to get a client or trying to pay your mortgage. When you can actually come from that place of service, that is when you're going to make a huge impact and change people's lives. Again, think about how big you want your impact. So I see a lot happening in this online world is a lot of people just stay stuck where they are. They stay stuck in these very small circles. You know, there might be in a Facebook group of 10,000 people and they think, "Wow, that's 10,000 people. That's amazing. You know, I'm just going to stay here and I'm just going to do this and hopefully it'll work." But to be honest, 10,000 in reference to the 3 billion people that are online is nothing. It's like less than 1%. So think about how big you want your impact. Do you want to reach thousands of women? Do you want to reach millions of people? Do you want to do this on an international or a global scale? Think about how big you want your impact, because if you can go, for that big thing, then you're inevitably going to have major visibility because you're going for something so big. However, when you go for something smaller, you're not going to have that same impact. And it just reminds me of the quote that says, reach for the moon and you might catch some stars, right? So, but if you reach for the stars and you fall short, you're empty handed. So always think bigger, think huge, and think about that real impact that you want to make. Changing people's lives. Changing people's lives will create such mega impact and visibility for you that it is just going to be amazing for your business. So think about how you can actually change people's lives. Is what you're doing, is your mission, is your vision going to actually change people's lives? If so, how? And also along those lines, how to inspire and motivate people. Because once you have this like ripple effect, right? You change your life, you're able to do something amazing with your life, you show somebody else how to do that, or you help someone shift their mindset and then they can inspire and motivate as well. It just becomes such a big thing. And I believe that that's all what we're here for, being a heart-centered entrepreneur, coach. This is what we want. We want to change people's lives. We want to help people. We want to inspire people. We want to serve people. So make sure that everything that you do, whether it's just creating a blog post or creating a video or whatever, that you are coming from such a place of service and huge impact that there's just no other course but for you to get noticed and for you to be visible. All right, so I talked about this a little bit before, but I really want to dive into relatability and how your ideal clients are going to be attracted to you, how they're going to connect with you. So first thing you want to think about are, what are the common ideals? What are the things that you guys feel the same way about? What are the common things? Are you both on a mission for health? Are you on a mission to have a big impact? Are you on a mission to help children with something? Think about what those common ideals for. And the way that you can really easily answer this are by asking yourself two questions. What do you stand for? And what do you stand against? When you can get really clear on what that is, your ideal clients are going to have no choice but to be like instantly magnetized for you, because people are connected to and drawn to people who feel the same way as they do. So I want to give you actually like a funny / real life example of something like this. So if you can think back to like when you were a teenager in your early 20s and you maybe had some best friends, or you would meet up with some girls at a bar or a club or something like that, and you found out that this one girl also didn't like this person that you didn't like. You both didn't like the same person, and there was like this instant connection, like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, I don't like her either. So that's like maybe a really bad example considering that we're all heart-centered here, but I think it's a good example because you actually can see how just by having something in common with someone is going to create this instant connection. So really think about what you stand for, and this could be anything. It can be in life, it can be in business, it can be as far as health. Maybe you stand for, self-care and taking care of yourself and family first. Those are things that you could stand for. What do you stand against? Maybe you stand against the hustle and the grind. Maybe you stand against, people that are not service based. Maybe you stand against people who have a certain political view or something like that. I won't get into that now because that will just open up a can of worms. But just really think about, like, what are the things you stand for? What are the things you stand against? And if you can start to incorporate that in your stories, in your marketing, in your blogs, in your videos, people are going to connect with you. The right people are going to connect with you. The wrong people won't. And that's called polarity. You're going to bring in the right people and totally weed out the wrong people. And that is how you create mega visibility. Can they relate to you? Bottom line, this is what I was saying before. When you're telling your stories, when you're sharing what you have going on in your business, in your life, in your health, can people relate? So let's say that you're a business coach and you have talk about, creating six figures, you talk about creating, a 7-figure business. People can relate to that. They're like, yes, I want that. I want 6 figures. I want 7 figures. But then all of a sudden you start saying, I want 8 figures, or I want to be a $10 million coach, or, and start talking about that way. I feel like it opens up this gap of people who just aren't going to believe that that can happen for them. So then they no longer relate to you and your level because they're not seeing it as something that they can actually implement for themselves. Same thing when it comes to health. This is a big one for me, so I'm going to put it out there as an example. So when I see someone that is a health coach that is, just perfect and thin and beautiful and always has been thin and beautiful, and, it's hard for me to be able to take advice from them when I've struggled with my weight. However, if I see a health coach or somebody who maybe has struggled, who talked about a story where, they had some sort of addiction or a sugar addiction, or they lost a lot of weight and they were able to keep it off. To me, I can relate to that better because I understand that they know that there is a struggle, that they can feel that that I can kind of see that that could be me, right? So they were able to lose the weight, so can I. But if someone is always skinny and never has, lost any weight, then I can't really connect to that. So just giving you an example. All right, so next is, again, what I just said. Do they see it as possible? And this goes back to, can they relate? If I see somebody that is just, perfect, always has been perfect, everything in life is amazing, then it's not going to be as easy for me to see it as possible for me if I've had some sort of struggle. So can they relate to you? Do they see it as possible? You really want to drive in on those points there because that is what's going to make people relate to you, and that's what's going to make people buy from you. All right, so next is talking about your wins and your successes. Now, there is a way to do this as well. So you don't just kind of want to go out there and just start bragging about all the amazing things you've done. There's just got to be a way for you to balance sharing your wins and also being very humble about it. So talking about some sort of triumph or the hero's journey, essentially, that you've overcome something, right? People love to hear that. People love to hear, hey, I used to struggle with my weight, or I used to be in massive debt, but now, I'm out of debt and I have this freedom lifestyle because I was able to do this. Or, I used to struggle with my weight. I was 100 pounds overweight, but I found this one thing. And just by implementing this one thing, I was able to lose all of this weight and keep it off for 3 years. Like, people love hearing that stuff. Next is also sharing your client wins and testimonials. So it's not always about you, right? If you are here on a mission, if you are here to change the world, if you are here to change people's lives, then you should be doing it. And the way that you show that, like, you can actually get people results is by sharing your client wins and or their testimonials. So if you have a client that, lost 20 pounds, if you have a client that found her soulmate, if you have a client that had her first 10K months. Like, you want to share that stuff. People love this. And this goes back to, the previous slide where I was talking about the relatability. People are just going to connect when all these pieces are together. The wins and successes don't always have to be monetary. So I do want to note that. So like I mentioned earlier, maybe it could just, if you're a relationship coach, maybe it's, an improved marriage or a saved marriage. Maybe it's someone being able to find their soulmate. Maybe it's someone, losing weight or getting healthier, getting better sleep, just being happier, being confident, being comfortable in their skin. So it doesn't always have to be monetary as far as the wins and successes. However, it is really important to include timelines and numbers. And I think that this is where people get confused. People think that, oh, well, if I'm not out there saying, I made $1 million in 30 days, that, people aren't going to listen to me. But that's just not true. It doesn't always have to be monetary, but when you do include the timelines and the numbers, that makes sense. So you could say something like, before working with me, Tammy went on 50 first dates and just could not find her match. Once we worked through some of this stuff, after 2 dates, she found her soulmate and they're going to be getting married next year, So that, includes numbers, it includes timelines. Same thing if you're dealing with health or fitness, maybe, before working with me, this person was XYZ pounds. After, just 6 weeks of intense, workouts and a meal plan, they've dropped 20 pounds. So just, making sure that it's like a tangible thing, right? Even if it's not monetary, you still want it to be tangible. Including those numbers, including those timelines are really going to draw people in. All right, so connections. Connections are huge when it comes to visibility because, believe it or not, we cannot do this on our own. And I think a lot of times entrepreneurs start and think, oh, I could just do this by myself. I'm a solopreneur. I'm a bootstrapper. I'm just going to go out there and do it myself. But the truth is you can't. So you have to connect with peers. So when you're going into Facebook groups or you're trying to be visible or you're trying to go out there and get yourself known, don't just think of it like, I want to be known in front of clients or I want to attract ideal clients. You also want to attract peers. You want to attract people who are doing the same thing as you. You want to attract other coaches, other entrepreneurs that you can connect with, because those connections are what's going to help you in the future. All right, so creating powerful relationships along with that is so big because those relationships are going to help you get to the next level. Maybe you don't have a big list yet. Maybe you don't have a big following, but you're connected with someone who does, and maybe they're able to have you on their podcast, or maybe they're able to, share something about you in one of their groups or in their newsletter or something like that. So making sure that you have those powerful relationships in place are really just going to help you leverage someone else's already established visibility and audience. Next is to get noticed by your mentors and coaches. This is something that's so overlooked and it's something so easy to do. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you're buying all these programs and courses, which I know, many of us are addicted to the shiny object syndrome, and we just buy stuff, right? We buy courses and half the time we might never look at it or we don't go through it. But if you can really go through the course and be active and be involved and be engaged and get results, you will start to get noticed. Same thing if you're just working with a one-on-one coach. It doesn't even have to be a course or a program. You're working with a one-on-one coach, be the best. That's always my initiative. Like when I go into something, I'm like, I'm going to be the best, because if you go in with that mentality, you're going to show up and they're going to notice and they're going to be proud and they're going to want to share your successes. So that's how you get noticed. Get out from behind your computer. This is something that took me a long time to realize. It's like, we think we're growing an online business, so we should just be behind our computer all day long. Not true. You want to make sure that you're going to events, even if they're just small events, maybe they're big conferences, maybe they're just small masterminds, maybe they're just local dinners with other entrepreneurs or peers. Get out from behind your computer, because that is where you're going to create those powerful relationships that I'm talking about. All right, so social proof. This is huge. This is really the kicker. Like, this is how you become everywhere and how you become super visible without you having to do the hard work. So, the thing about social proof is that other people are talking about you. And when you have a success story, or when you really create something amazing, or your content is just like awesome, or you're innovative, or whatever, other people will start to talk about you. Other people will share it with their friends. Other people will share your post and retweet, and things like that. So having other people talk about you is huge when it comes to visibility, because as much as we can talk about and gloat about ourselves, it doesn't have as much of an impact for when other people are talking about us. Next, being featured in podcasts and in press. So I'm going to get into this in just a second, but this is also a form of social proof. It shows that you're interesting enough to have someone feature you in their podcast, in their interview, or in their publication. So being featured anywhere is also a form of social proof, and something that's going to create not just visibility but credibility for you and your business. Client raves, testimonials, and thank yous. So anytime someone is saying, wow, that was the best course I ever took, or I just had this session with so-and-so and it was amazing, screenshot it. I always have screenshots of, when my clients talk about me in groups or on their Facebook, or when my clients send me a text message or a private message or even an email. I take a screenshot of everything, because that is social proof. That is, again, other people talking about you. That is you getting results for other people and not just getting results for yourself. So anything along those lines, clients talking about you, raving about you, actual written testimonials, video testimonials, any kind of thank you for what you're doing, that is all social proof. And you should keep that in your back pocket for when you're doing promotions, for when you're creating a sales page or something like that. Next is to become the case study. So I touched on this a little bit when I talked about getting noticed by your mentors and your coaches. You want to be the case study. I'm sure you've gone on these, major sales pages of, these mega superstars in the online world, and you see people's faces with their case study or with their testimonial. You want to be that person, because that's going to give you that visibility. I think this is something, again, commonly overlooked. We don't realize that. But if you are taking a course that, maybe has, a few hundred people or even 1,000 people in it, that person probably has a good 10, 20, 30, 100, 200,000 people on their list that they're sharing that sales page with, that they're sharing their website with. So if you can become the case study and be plastered right on their website, that's a win for you. I always notice too, when I go and I look at the stats for my own website, lots of people click through actually on the testimonial. So when I have the testimonial, I have it linked to that person's website. And, I don't think a day goes by where I don't see, even if it's just a click or two, that people are clicking through to their websites. So it's just a great way for you to get additional visibility and, just that connection too with the mentor. Like, if they are wanting you to become their case study and go an in-depth testimonial or something, or video testimonial, that's really also going to get you noticed. They want to help you. They're on a similar mission. They want to make an impact. So if you can say, hey, so-and-so, I applied everything that you taught in this course, or everything that we worked together as a coach, and these are my results. It's just going to be stellar for them. They're going to love it. They're going to notice you. And this is just such a great and easy way, especially because we already have the programs. We already have the courses. We're already buying stuff like all the time. So become the case study. All right, so now I want to talk a little bit about some positioning things that you can do to create visibility, even if you're just starting, even if you have a small list or you have a small following or something like that. These are the things that you can do to kind of position yourself as an expert and as a leader. So first thing is an epic roundup blog post. So this is something that is actually fairly easy, but I don't see a lot of people doing it. Basically, it's a blog post or an article that you're creating where you are rounding up testimonials or tips or quotes or anything like that from other experts. So you basically are going to reach out to experts on a specific topic. Your blog post would have a specific topic. Maybe it's list building, maybe it's publishing a book, maybe it's the best ways to quit sugar. And you reach out to experts in that field and say, hey, I'm creating a blog post, roundup blog post on quitting sugar. I'd love to know your best tip on quitting sugar. And then you have a blog post that you basically just take everything that people gave you, put it together, and say, hey, here's the 40 best tips from the top experts on how to quit sugar. Boom, that's it. Now you have all of these people that have contributed to your blog post. They will share it. It's also going to be positioning you as an expert in that. So this is a really great and easy thing to do that a lot of people don't do. Another thing kind of along the same lines is to do kind of like a top 10 list. So maybe as a business coach, you can say, the top 10 marketers or the top 10 copywriters or the top 10 web designers, in the online space, something along those lines. Same thing. You want to kind of like basically give a shout out to those people. And when you do that, you don't even have to go and say, hey, I featured you here. Do you mind sharing it? No, all you have to do is basically say, hey, I featured you here. And they will share it, because who doesn't want to share the fact that they've just been named the top 10 of something, right? So they're automatically going to share that with their audience, with their list, maybe. And that's going to get you mega visibility, and you didn't even have to do anything. All you had to do was put together this blog post. Next is to host a summit. So hosting a summit is a beast. I am not going to sit here and say that it's an easy thing to do and that you could just whip it up together. It's going to take you probably a good 8 weeks, if not more, to host a profitable telesummit, something that's really going to get you going and get you moving in the right direction. But it is, however, one of the things that you can totally do to increase your visibility, build your list, and just really position you as a leader, as an expert in your field. But it does take some work. So if you want to host a summit, you just have to be really committed to the process. Next is to be a guest on the summit. And the way that you're going to do that is by all of the things that I've already just told you in this class. Showing up, positioning yourself as an expert, giving those tips, just being there, creating massive value content. People will start to ask you. I don't even know how many requests on a weekly basis, probably 10 to 12 requests every single week for me to be interviewed, for me to be on somebody's summit, also to be a guest expert in other people's programs. And the reason why is because I have a specific mission. I have, my one thing that people know me for. And so automatically when people are putting together, interviews, or they're putting together a summit, or they're putting together a course and they're looking for experts, they come to me. So this is why it's so important for you to really have that one thing that you are just known for. And every piece of content, every single piece of, social media blurbs or content or whatever that you put out there drives that home. So these are all really great ways to get positioning as the expert. All right, so now I want to talk about publicity, because I know that this is really big for a lot of people. I know a lot of people want to be known. They want to be known for what they're doing. And along with just, the regular social media visibility and getting in front of people and having a big list, having publicity in these big named publications and things like that, it's just amazing for your business and amazing for you. And it's something that you can actually do on your own. So you can create your own publicity. It's so easy. I don't know why people think that this is so hard, but I'm really going to share with you that it's actually really easy to contribute to a lot of these blog posts and online magazines that are out there. Creating your own publicity by guest posting, by contributing an article to a publication. And most, if not all, on their website have a place for you to submit your own content. So that is how you create your own publicity. You can go out there and just guest blog. If you want to guest blog on the Huffington Post, they tell you exactly how to pitch your story. If you want to guest blog on Mind Body Green, again, they have a section where you can write. Next is to create relationships with contributors. So a lot of the bigger named publications like Forbes, Business Insider, Fast Company, kind of those things aren't as easy for you to get on. So what you have to do there is actually create a relationship with the contributors. So, Forbes, Business Insider, they have, even Huffington Post, they have contributors. They have people that are constantly writing articles for them. They're approved. And that's how you're going to create, that's how you're going to get on those bigger name publications, is by creating a relationship with the person who is actually writing the articles. So easy tip for you, go to Forbes, Business Insider, Huffington Post, whatever it is, find the person who's writing about your topic. If it's health, if it's productivity, if it's relationships, if it's business, find the people that are writing articles on there, and it says, who the article is by. You want to create the relationship with that person. That's the person you want to reach out to, as opposed to just saying, hey, Forbes, here's my article. Probably not going to work. Next with publicity is to be really genuine and tell stories, like I was talking about before. People love that, okay? People don't want you to come and be on their show or be, on their blog and be a robot. They want to know that, people can connect with you, people can relate to you, that there's a story behind your success, that there's a story behind whatever it is that you're putting out there, and that you're really genuine and real about it. People love realness. Next is to, again, create your own publicity by pitching podcasts, radio shows, TV shows. The misconception is that, they don't want to hear from me, or why would they be interested in me, or my website's not done yet, or, stupid things like that stop us from actually going out there and putting ourselves out there and pitching ourselves, right? But the reality is that a lot of these podcasts and blogs and radio shows, they're looking for content. And if you can provide them with content that is good, that is valuable, if you can provide them with a story, with a pitch that their audience is really going to enjoy, then you can get their attention. Right? So you have to do a little bit of research here. Don't just like randomly pitch podcasts with the same, canned response there. You want to make sure that you're pitching to the right person at the right time with the right thing, and you will start to get noticed and picked up. So I do want to just quickly note that, you're not going to get everyone, right? You might pitch a few and not get any. You might pitch 30 and get 3 or get 5, but now those are 5 that you can take and say, hey, I've been featured in these 5 other podcasts. This is what I've talked about. And then you can kind of leverage that. So just want to let you guys know that anytime you're pitching anything, it's not going to work 100% of the time. That's just not the reality of it. But what you want to do is leverage those times where you are picked up, where you are, interviewed, and use that as leverage to get even more publicity. I forget who it was that told me this, but essentially they said, the more publicity you have, the more publicity you get. So the more places you can be featured and, contribute to and say like, hey, I've been featured here, here, and here, as seen in here, here, and here, more people are going to be interested in you and your story, but you have to start somewhere. All right, so lastly, this is a huge one that I want to talk about today because I think that this is really going to skyrocket your visibility. So the reason why this is last is because you kind of have to have a little bit of visibility. You have to have a little bit of skin in the game. You have to be, kind of already having a little bit of momentum before these things are going to work. So partnerships are huge. Partnerships are the way that most 7-figure, 8-figure earners are creating that kind of income because like I said before, you can't do it yourself, right? It's impossible because you're not going to be able to reach as many people as if you did it with someone else, or as if you leverage someone else's audience. Like, you may by yourself, even if you're thinking really, really big, be able to reach about, a million people. Let's just say a million people. But if you connect with someone who maybe has access to 2 million people, well, guess what? Now you've just reached 3 million people. So partnerships are just a great way to connect with your peers, with your coaches, with your mentors, and really support them and have them support you in creating a bigger impact and creating that ripple effect that is going to be huge. So first thing you can do is any kind of joint venture project. So this can be, going in on a program together, creating, a product together, and really utilizing and leveraging each one of your strengths and also each one of your audiences. So the reason why this is last again is because you do have to have that momentum. You want to make sure that any joint venture project you have or create is beneficial for both, right? So you don't want to just approach someone that, let's say you have a list of like 20, and you don't want to approach someone that has a list of 20,000 and say, hey, maybe we should do a joint venture and we'll share it with each other's list. Not gonna work. They're not gonna go for that, because what benefit is that for them? So make sure that when you're doing the joint venture projects, that it is it's collaborative, but it's also reciprocal. So you want to make sure that they're getting a benefit and you're getting a benefit, and you guys are making the impact together. Next is to speak at events. You can actually pitch yourself to speak if you want to, but also just being known, going out there and doing all the things that I've shared with you so far, will get you known, and people will start asking you. So speaking at events are just a great way for you to impact even more people. And typically at these events, they're people that you don't know. They're people that are someone else's audience. So being able to go to an event that, even if it's a small event where there's 100 or 150 people, to an event that maybe has thousands, being able to share your story and share your expertise at an event, speaking from the stage, is a huge, huge way for you to get clients, to get the visibility, and to really put yourself out there as the expert and the leader. Next is to participate in an affiliate launch. So this is something that I didn't do in my business until well after I hit multiple six figures. And the reason why is because I had my own stuff going on. I was launching my own programs and things like that. However, I noticed that there was gaps in my income. I noticed that, if I launched something, every quarter, there was those times and the spaces where I wasn't getting income, where I wasn't, getting paid. So that's where I started to do affiliate launches. And basically what that means is you promote someone else's program. So let's just say you have a launch in January, and then you have another one in April. So, February, March, like, that's a perfect time for you to participate in someone else's launch, share their program, get a commission off of it, and fill in the gaps of your income. So this is just a really great way also to share with your audience something that you wouldn't necessarily have yourself. So something that you wouldn't necessarily offer them. So for example, when I did an affiliate launch for Selena Sue, she's all about publicity. She was doing a program that was basically about how to get publicity in your business. And even though I've gotten publicity for myself, it's not necessarily something I'm an expert in yet, and not something that I would create a course around. So I knew it was something that my people wanted, but that I wasn't able to give them. So when you think about your affiliates, you want to think about, is this something that my audience needs, but that I can't personally provide? If so, it's going to be a great affiliate launch for you and a great way for you to just fill in the gaps of that income. Next is to offer an affiliate program. So if you have your own program or product or service that people want to share, offering an affiliate program will be another great way to just have people talking about you. So now they're sharing your stuff with their audience. Yes, they're getting a commission, but this is press, this is visibility, this is sales that you wouldn't have otherwise. So offering that affiliate program is also a great way to get mega visibility for your business. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's lessons here. I really, like I said, wanted to just give you everything that I possibly know about creating rockstar visibility for you and for your business so that you can make a huge impact on the world. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. I really hope you guys took lots of notes and that you're able to go out and start implementing some of this stuff right away.